you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Roundtable. I'm Robert Bannon. It's so nice to be here with you. I've snuck out from my glorious, luxurious looking New Jersey to come down, as we say, the shore. To you, it's the beach. Welcome to the shore. Welcome to the Jersey Shore, the home of Zeppelis, big hair, and fist pumping, sadly. The show is true. They really all look like that here. I'm so excited today to talk about artists. You know, the show is born out of artists and the need for art and the different various voices that are out there. And I am so excited to speak to up and coming amazing artists. The future is now, and the next guests that we're about to speak to, they are the future of this medium. Writers, actors, performers, they do a little bit of everything. And they are all members of the Hillman Grad Mentor Program that's going on. It's 8 months long. 8 months of this intensive work to create art. There were 1,700 applicants, and I think there's like 22 filmmakers, writers, and actors that have been picked. So we're here with the best, literally the best of the best. So if you're somebody out there who wants to get on the bandwagon and start being that artistic journey, you can definitely check out all the information at hillmangrad.com, and you can follow Hillman Grad on Instagram at Hillman Grad Mentorship, that you can apply. Maybe you can spend 8 months of learning how to do the art that's inside of you. So here we have 3 wonderful mentees here with us today. First up, please welcome Victoria George. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Welcome. We have Jonny Williams.
Hey.
Hey, and we have Kashayna Johnson.
Hey.
Well, welcome and congratulations on this amazing journey and taking a brave step to be the best artist that you can be. It is a brave and beautiful undertaking. So congrats.
Thank you.
You're more than halfway there. You're more than halfway there. I know the bittersweet feeling of it as someone who went to an acting conservatory myself. You get so close, you build these great, vulnerable, beautiful relationships, and then you're freed out into the world to create your art. So how did an artistic journey start for each of you? Victoria, how did you first get the bug to be an artist? And tell us a little bit about what kind of art you create.
Absolutely. I always say it started out with jazz hands. It started out, I'm sure you understand, right? So it really started out with dance class, you know, dancing to just old Hollywood songs and watching musicals that I love so much. And I grew up through the theater, grew up acting, doing some backstage stuff. And then a couple of years ago, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I really started turning around and wanting to get more into the writing and honestly creating stories that I want to be in myself. And so that's literally why I sort of started this whole writing journey.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Where are you originally from? I know you all are in LA right now. Where are you originally from?
Well, I grew up in Boston, but I'm originally from West Africa. So I'm from Sierra Leone, and I immigrated here when I was a child.
That is beautiful. Well, welcome to LA. Jonny, tell us a little bit about you. I know that you're like into theater. I know you're like the hip hop theater and all the stuff that you. So I'm fascinated. I need to know more.
Yeah, no, for sure. So at age 10, I just started rapping terribly, like a super terrible rap. It was really, really bad. But, you know, I just kept doing it, kept refining it. And by the time I got into high school, I found out about the forensics poetry program. And from there, it's okay, perform. And I just took all my little poems, took them together, performed for critics for the first time, and it like just destroyed me, right? So, you know, I went home, cried a little bit, worked on it, edited it, you know, a bunch of times, and then performed again, and you know, didn't do too bad that time. So it kind of like gave me that first feel of what it looks like to have your art under a microscope in that type of way. But from there, you know, I found out about this first wave hip hop scholarship program at Wisconsin-Madison. And, you know, I thought like to go to college for free, you had to be, you know, athlete or a mathlete or something like that. And so my little rapping self got into the school. From there, you know, it was mainly like hip hop theater. And then so from there went to actual theater to get the, you know, MFA, and then now out here with the film and TV. So.
You have an MFA in theater? Oh God! Well, I will not be acting with him. All right, so that's amazing. And Kashayna, tell me about your artistic journey. How'd you get into this magical world of art?
Yes, well, Robert, I don't have an MFA in theater either.
Me either.
But thank you, Johnny, for doing that for all of us. It's funny that you bring up forensics, Johnny, because I actually did forensics in high school. Totally forgot about that moment in my life. And so competing in speech and poetry and monologues too is something that I kind of started doing in high school, which like led me into the theater program. I auditioned for my first musical, The Wiz, when I was like 7 or 8, and that was horrible. It was terrible. I bombed. I didn't make it, not even as a munchkin. But I was an assistant costume designer. But yeah, once I moved to Maryland, my mom moved us to Maryland. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and she moved us down there. And I started doing that, and I just fell in love with it again and taking classes and auditioned to get into Suitland High School, which is like a it is a visual and performing arts high school. And a lot of people don't know too much about it because I know the big name in DC is like Duke Ellington School of the Arts. But Suitland has a great program as well. And I was a theater major there. I went off to Bada in England for their Midsummer's program and studied over there. And then came back and just been working professionally ever since. So that's
okay. Don't sell yourself short here. Don't sell yourself. None of you would be where you are if you didn't have some magical qualities that made you artists. So we're not going to sell any of you short. You're all something absolutely special, and I'm sure I can't wait to see all the magic that you create. Kashayna, we'll go backwards in this counterclockwise. How did you find out about this program, and what was your application process like?
Yeah, so I heard about it the first year. A friend sent it to me, I think like in a message, and was like, "Yo, check this out." And I was like, "What? What is this?" And I never mentioned this, but I did apply the first year. So for everyone, keep applying for real. Like if it's in you and you know that this is what you want to do, don't give up. A no is not a never, and a no has nothing to do with like your purpose. So I applied again the second year, and I actually found out at the last minute, like 2 days before the deadline. I just randomly hit someone's story and they had it up, and I was like, "Oh, let me apply again." And so I did the work. We had to do the application, fill out some like personal statements and questions that were prompts in the application process. And then we had to send in tapes of our work, at least for the acting cohort. And so I sent in 2 monologues, and then there was an interview process after that. And
will you tell us, because people watching out there that are acting students, do you mind telling us unless it's your secret?
No.
Was it a contemporary monologue? Was it where do you find your monologues from?
Yeah, well, that's hard. So here's the thing, because it was supposed to be monologues, but I was like, I have these scenes though that I've done for self-tapes, and they're like within the scenes there were like a good chunk of like material where I was speaking. So I was like, I could kind of finesse it a little bit. So I did end up doing scenes. I did a monologue from Anna Devere Smith's Mirrors in the Fire. Did I say? I don't want to butcher that. So I did a monologue from there. And then I also did sent in a tape from a self-tape I had for a new work that hasn't come out yet. So I don't know if I could speak on that. But yeah, so awesome. I did TV, film, and I did a piece from a play.
See, perfect. How about you, Johnny?
The same setup with the questions, and then the 2 like contrasting monologues, and of course the follow-up interview. But yeah, I think that the questions more than anything were just kind of designed to try to create the most like diverse and unique ensemble. They placed a lot of emphasis on like making sure that it had the feeling of like a cast, and that we all were kind of hungry to just learn more. So all the questions were kind of directed in that way. And then the follow-up interview, of course, was very similar to that, to see like if we had this ambition to just keep sharpening the skill set and not be stuck in one particular mode of learning and think that we kind of know it all, because most type of people not really there. And so And so, yeah, they just wanted to see if we were willing to just be diligent in the program. And then, yeah, my monologues, I honestly, I kind of took a gamble because I wasn't sure, I didn't want it to approach it like everything else because Hillman seemed different. So I was like, all right, let me just try to present some pieces that I really, really love. And if they like it, then like they gonna really like me. And so I took a scene from Atlanta and just kind of, like chopped it, like it was from the original pilot, so you probably couldn't even tell that it was from Atlanta. And I was just, all right, let me just chop this piece from Paperboy, and see if they like the way I try it out. And then another one was from a play called Hooded, or Being Black for Dummies. So it was really, really fun. Had a lot of fun with them. So
awesome, sounds awesome. Victoria, you're in the writing cohort, right?
I am, yeah.
So how did you hear about the program, and then what was your application audition process like versus them as actors?
So I actually also applied last year and clearly did not make it in, and almost didn't apply this year. I think a friend of mine sent it to me, and I sort of hemmed and hawed a little bit, but I'm so glad I did not, and push through. So we actually have to submit a full original pilot, so either a half hour or a hour long. And I'm more on the comedy side, so I'm a half hour comedy writer. And I will say that, like, making it to sort of the, after all of the application process and then getting selected as one of the 25 finalists for the interview was really just, I was not expecting it, obviously, but it was probably the most seamless and warm and welcoming sort of interview process that I've ever been through. And I have to sort of give praise to Michael Sabota, because he's the writing track instructor, and he's just one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. And even at the end of it, I thought, even if I don't get this, that was so lovely. And I'm so happy for whoever gets to work with him and whoever gets to be in that room. And so luckily I was one of the 9 that was selected.
Congratulations. And it's your original pilot. It was a comedic pilot.
It was an original comedic pilot. I do focus a lot on sort of friendships and also poking fun at satire. So the best way that I can describe it is Insecure meets Stranger Than Fiction. So it's a little bit of fun.
Sold. Done.
There
We're
you go.
selling it. Done. I'm in. I'll send you my resume too. Well, we would be remiss to not bring up that, of course, Hillman is a production company as well. And everyone, I don't know if you watch Beauty on Netflix, but you should, because it's a beautiful film. It's gorgeous, and filmed in New Jersey, just saying. And so and we can't talk about this without talking about Lena and the amazing Lena Waithe, Emmy award-winning genius that is Lena Waithe, and the amazing crew of people, instructors, and mentors that are a part of this program. I talked to Armand Fields last week. I was talking to Victoria before we came on. Armand was on. We talked about this program on the show actually just yesterday. So my question to you is, what inspiration and big lessons have you learned? We'll start with Jonny, from the staff and the faculty and the mentors that are there at the program.
Yeah, no, honestly, truly blessed team to be able to like put everything together and create such that warmth that Victoria was describing earlier. Like, it truly does feel different when we get together for our in-person weekends. You can just feel this love and this openness. It makes you want to be vulnerable, which is, very important in this world of artistry, of course. But yeah, in terms of the lessons, from Lena, one of the things I took was she was telling us that, like, any type of art that you create, don't try to just have it like stack on top of all the other art that's kind of out there. It has to like push forward. It has to push the overall world of artistry forward. And so trying to make something that for one, just inspires you to make more art, but something that even your idols, the people that have inspired you, can look at and be like, but of course we, me and Kashayna and the other 6 members of the acting cohort, the acting track, we've always gotten to learn from Carolyn Michelle Smith and Beza Adabu, and they truly are fantastic teachers, actors, actresses, you know what I'm saying? Like, but what they've been able to do for us was break down this infrastructure of the industry, and that's been phenomenal for me as someone who I love to be able to see everything on a structural level. So seeing where the money flows and kind of like where we placing it. Notice I put it at the bottom. It's kind of like just at least showing us that. to let us know that there's so many things going on, so many things that are out of our control. And so to not take anything personally, because only thing we can do is really just show up, be our best self, and keep studying and keep sharpening, and go from there.
That's really brilliant advice, especially when you have that self-tape, that audition that you really want, and then you feel like it was I got this, I nailed this, and then it's not, and it's not about you. It's so hard, Jonny. It's so hard. I hear you. So that's amazing advice. Kashayna, what did you take away from the mentors and something that you've learned so far along this process?
Yeah, just to echo back on what Jonny has said, as far as like creating that work that's gonna catch the eye or resonate with people. I think the biggest thing I learned was from them, and everyone has spoken to, Lena, Carolyn, Behzad, Michael, is be you. And I know that's so like simple, and some people make it cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. Like they, you know, and we see that through Lena's journey as well, being herself really at, you know, at the core of her work. Like it comes through her work. And I think being you and trusting that that's enough is like a huge thing that has been a reminder, but has constantly been reflected back to me within this program, and trusting that like the uniqueness of your voice is enough, and that will carry, like, and that is what really leads to success. So that's the biggest thing. And community, the sense of this, not even sense of this family space that they've created and welcomed us into, like just being in the program is inspiration enough, really. And they've been so like open and transparent with us, and like the business side of things, it's been like, because that's stuff that like for some reason people don't tell us, and we're supposed to learn while we're tripping and falling over our faces. And, you know, granted, you're still going to trip and fall on your face, but the fact that we have this like this real foundation of support within Hillman, it's very like inspiring to like keep going. And you also want to make them proud that they like, you know, that they are betting on you. So, and that they believe in you.
And that also, that's so beautiful, and both of so eloquent and beautiful. I remember, if I may say for 1 second, when I was in acting school, my acting teacher said, you're going to have to make your own type. Like not everybody is going to just be a cookie cutter. And it may take a moment for them to recognize what you've got, but you all have something so special, and you are your own type. You're going to create your own amazing projects, and then people are going to try to be you. Victoria, tell me a little bit about what you've taken away so far from your experience.
I mean, I just want to echo what Kashayna and Jonny have already said. And I think, you know, what's so unique and special about this program, and Lena putting it together and making it, you know, giving us the opportunity like this to actually be in community with other artists. And there's no ego involved. And as you know, as an artist, there's some ego, right? And so it's just been really lovely to understand. And as much as Lena pushes it, and everybody else in the program, and Lacy and everyone else telling us, like, you know, what's really important is not always going after the person that's like 2-3 steps above you. It's really important to make those meaningful friendships with the people that are at your level right now, because you are all going to rise together. Yeah. And it's so invaluable to know that there is, you know, no competition, right? They just said it out, like, you're not in competition. You're here to work together and to rise together. And for me, that's what I've taken away from this experience, is that I have found a family, even though we only have gotten to see each other in person twice. I still feel, you know, the kinship and the connection. It's like going back to summer camp when you haven't seen anybody in like 9 months, and then you're best friends again. Yeah. It's exactly what it feels like.
Well, I'm so jealous and excited for you all as a cohort, as a group of people, to be able to work and create projects and help each other through these, you know, all the work that you're going to do. Victoria, I don't understand something that I would love to know. What is the day-to-day process? What is this like? You say you see each other on weekends. How does this schedule kind of work?
Absolutely. I think similar to the acting track. So we have classes every Saturday on Zoom for about 3 hours or so. And at least for the writing folks, you know, we had 2 in-person retreats. So the very first sort of kickoff was back in March, I believe. And then last month, just about 3 weeks ago, we just had our second in-person. And then the final one will be hopefully our showcase, or sort of where we will be able to present our work in October. And then in between, it's, you know, 3-hour classes every Saturday. And we also get the instruction, but we also get to speak with guest speakers. And so we've heard from, at least on the writing track, from writers, from agents, from folks in development, from managers. So it's been really great to have that face value time with people that are currently in the industry, giving us advice and sort of helping us piece together those puzzles that we need to succeed. Yeah.
Jonny and Kashayna, is it similar with the schedule and how it works?
Yeah, same. Every Saturday, 3 hours, we're on these Zooms, getting this work done. We've met, same, Victoria, we've met with writers, casting directors, agents. I think actually, yes. Have you done agents yet? I don't know if you.
If not, it's coming. It's
coming. I don't think we've done agents yet. And we've had people come in and speak on the business side of the industry as well. So yeah, same deal. We've had to do self-tapes and like send them in. So Carolyn or Bezod may like hit us up on a Thursday and it's like your self-tape is due like Friday night so we can discuss it Saturday. So we've done things like that. And we've done like in real time scene work with each other on Zoom and given adjustments and stuff like that. So we're always like working at it. And it helps that it is on Zoom. At first it's like, how does that work? But it's on camera space, we are self-taping. We're going to be on TV and in movies, please. So the Zoom space is super, super helpful. And it's just the perfect setup.
And we're also all over the country too. So it helps and allows other people. So you don't have to be LA based in order to be a part of this program.
That is fantastic. That is amazing. The program, of course, it focuses on it includes BIPOC, LGBTQA, IA plus community, disabilities, etc. Viewpoints, and including all people and having visibility in all different areas of life is so important to the program and also in art. So are there certain causes? A lot of you, I've read about a little bit about all of you and have gotten some notes about you all. You all have your own form of activism through your art. How important is those two worlds tied together, in your opinion, as an artist, Kashayna?
Wow. How important. It just is, because that's where I operate from. I think my art is influenced by my life and what's around me, and if that is more in a space in the world of activism, sure, yeah. Sometimes just showing up is a form of that, right? So it definitely bleeds through my art, it bleeds through the projects I choose. I definitely am about uplifting and listening to marginalized voices, listening to actually and learning from them. And also I'm just big on truth. So if truth is being pushed to the forefront, no matter how ugly and beautiful and comfortable, if it's a perspective coming from a human experience, then I'm all about it for sure.
The experience, behavior. We're all studying behavior. We're all writing, creating, and recreating behavior. Jonny, how important is your activism through art, and what messages you try to get out into the world?
Yeah, no, extremely. I mean, even from that 10-year-old me rapping terribly, I would expand from the wildest subjects. Occasionally it would be about like bacon, right? But then other times it would be about the impoverished, deteriorated neighborhoods in Milwaukee, and so being able to speak about the parts that were my interests or the things that I felt like I needed to address around me, it just kind of made me think about these things, and so how I was raised, and the messed up things. I was always someone who was very cognizant of the system that was around me from a young age. So I was just I would talk about it. I would have conversations with people about it, and I understood that that's where it starts. It all starts with that dialogue, and so me being able to create this rap about systemic racism, or this poem about the messed up college system and how it's not actually meant for certain people to actually enter, or thrive and be successful in because of certain test scores or stuff that's dependent upon zip codes, right? All of these different things, were pieces of my DNA at that time, and so whenever I were to create a spoken word piece of poem, and then share it with a bunch of people, it would always create this dialogue after, and then we felt like we were active at that point, we felt like we were ready to be like a catalyst for change after that point. And so I felt like if I could just, I started, the teachers started talking to me like, yeah, let's go to this classroom and talk to these kids and talk to them. And so that I just fell in love with that, and as many classrooms as I could have, had went to at that time, I would always go perform, and more importantly, I would have to talk back after. Let's talk about these things, and so that was my way of just, kind of putting like a little small print on the community and seeing what I could change.
It's such a noble profession and such a great, that's amen to that. Amen. Victoria, as a writer, how about your activism through writing or your social change through your writing? How important is that, and what themes are within your writing?
For me, a lot of my sort of creative essence is about opportunity. And I want to see that in my writing. I want to be able to showcase, the full spectrum and the full color of BIPOC people, BIPOC communities, especially for me as a Black woman in America and an immigrant. I mean, that whole multicultural sense is sort of integral to who I am. And so that's where I see, for me and my activism, it's always just making sure that I want you to see me, and I want you to see me as a whole human, as someone who is just existing, and, as someone who cries and loves and gets angry, and none of these things have to be rooted in stereotype. And so for me, that's really where my writing pushes through. And then the other part, quite frankly, is I want my activism also to be about joy. For BIPOC people, I want us to be joyful. I want us to be happy and laughing and living our full lives, because we only have this one life to live. And so, that part of activism is so important to me as a writer as well.
Well, I know we said she's writing and they're acting, but they all write, they all act, they all probably do craft service, work camera, self-tape, lighting. They probably have done it all. Ballet Park, whatever you got to do to get on a set and do some work. And I will say this, I look at you all and I'm envious and jealous, because when I was 18 years old and was accepted into a conservatory program, I chickened out and bailed, did not act or sing for 15 years. 15 years, became an elementary school teacher, which is a show on its own, but the bravery and courage it takes to stand in front of rejection, to stand in front of fear and uncertainty, and to continue to create the art is truly noble and courageous. And the world is the world and a beautiful place because of artists. So I am really, really excited to see the amazing journey that you're all about to go on, to see all of your work. I can't wait until you don't remember doing this interview because you're too big and famous. And
never gonna happen.
No, I want that. I want that for all of you. Hillman Grad, they're going to have this moment in October. They're going to finish this process. I'm so excited to see where the journey goes for all of you. Congratulations. Victoria, do you want to have a last word to anyone that's watching, any prospective artists out there, any advice or words of wisdom that you've had on your journey, Victoria?
Yeah, in college, I had an opportunity to spend a semester at a conservatory as an actor. And I distinctly remember they would always tell us to risk, fail, and risk again. And that's really what I would say. You just try, because I was the same. I didn't do this stuff for almost 10 years and it was eating me inside. And I knew I had a calling, and I had to step out and take that risk. And if I was going to fail, that's okay. I would dust myself off and keep going.
You better. I'm with you. Speak. Jonny, what advice or words of wisdom do you have?
No, echoing that completely. I think don't be afraid to start ugly, right? Just don't be afraid to, because you have to start, and more than likely, unless you're just some, it's gonna not look exactly how you want to, but it's always about the refining process. You have so many tools at your disposal at this point. You have the University of YouTube. You can be a scholar as much as you want in any time, in any way that you want. So it's all about the time you dedicate to it, make it happen.
Touche. Perfect. Yes. Kashayna.
Yeah. Two things I would like to offer. One that was passed to me when I was in the beginning stages of auditioning in theater, in the theater world. You already don't have the job, so you might as well give it all that you have in that moment, or and do it anyway, and with that, do it scared. I know that fear is the thing that sometimes like paralyzes us. But I think it's super dope to like go after your dreams and your passions anyway, because it's tugging at you for a reason. So whatever that is, anxiety or fear or uncertainty, it's okay to walk in that, because the other side might surprise you or might be the very thing you've been like praying for.
That you're absolutely right. Let's let life surprise us for sure. I'm excited for all of you. Again, congratulations. Thank you. So we're going to watch for her sitcom. We're going to see her on TV in a movie. And we're going to all ask Jonny for that demo of the Bacon hip hop song.
I got you.
I'm ready to put it on Spotify, Jonny. No, and see his theater and his art as well. Big shout out to everyone at Hillman, to Lacy Wright, the executive director, and to Claudia Chow for setting this all up with DKO. And I'm so excited to continue the journey. Anytime you have something to say, my show is yours. So thank you and congrats.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.